Is this a store or a museum? This is such a weird place. It's called Marsh's Free Museum in Long Beach, Washington, and they have the coolest, weirdest stuff. You just gotta go. If you go to Long Beach, you have to stop at the store. If you go to one store in the entire area, this one's it. It's like a museum and it's a store and it has so much stuff. It gave me so much inspiration. I'm gonna have to share with you some frugal, inspiring craft ideas and other ways of saving money when you're on vacation during this video because it's very pricey. We did spend a lot of money, not just at the store, but at other ones. And I think if I come back again, I'm going to have to be a little bit more frugal. But this place is really, really stinking cool. And I would set yourself a budget. And if you have kids, set your kids a budget. Let them know what their max is and stick to it. But they have a lot of taxidermied items here. Like they have the lion in the background. They've got lots of stones, lots of amethyst, geodes, all kinds of cool stuff. They've got cards, greeting cards, postcards. There's something here for every budget, honestly, if you only have a quarter, or if you have $1 or $5 or $10, or if you have thousands of dollars. There's something here for everybody. Just think of it as like this is like window shopping unless you find something in your price range. So think of it as a museum until you find the item that you really like and that you can afford. So they have like little ships and jars, things like that. You can make your own. I like to save like little honey jars or little jam jars, even Gerber baby food jars. I even have one that I made using a little tiny ketchup bottle that came with a meal I had once. Those were only $4 for those jewelry boxes. That's a great price. Um, I did get one of the wooden boxes. My husband actually suggested it because my dad, as a gift, he used to give me like jewelry boxes as birthday presents, and it was really special. I lost my dad last year, so last August, and um, so I did splurge and get one of the wooden puzzle boxes. It was a whale, and I just absolutely love it. And I spent $5. Those, by the way, those sea stars. If you think you smell something stinky in the store, it's the sand. It's the sea stars. Um, so that would be one. I don't know. I would get sea stars for a gift or for a souvenir. I would use sand dollars. I didn't see sand dollars. If you're on the beach and you see purple sand dollars that are fuzzy, they are alive. Please do not take them. They are living organisms. If you see sea stars that are not dried out, and they are moving and you flip them over and the little tentacles are moving, please do not take them off the beach. They're alive. If you see seashells and there's something inside of it or something living or attached to it, please do not take them. But if you don't have any money, and like my family was very frugal and poor when I was growing up, we never went without food, but we did not have that much. My parents divorced when I was little. I was only like a year old when my parents got divorced, and 2.5 when my mom and stepdad got married. So I got to see the world. I got to see beautiful things, and I wanted to have something to remind me of the place to trigger those memories. So I started collecting seashells and rocks because we did not have money to buy stuff. And those are my treasures. I don't enjoy them any less than a store-bought item. And I hope that that's the way you are too. That you can enjoy something that was free. Even if it's simple as a piece of driftwood or a pebble. Like, you don't have to buy stuff. If you want to, you can. They have lots of really cool things here. And we want to keep these stores in business, and we want to keep our money local. So the more we can support local businesses, the better. And so like, especially if you see things, that are made somewhere, like I really treasure things that are either found in that place or made in that place. I don't know that all of these seashells could be found on the Pacific coastline. And actually, I'm going to do a lesson with my students where I show them different shells and different items, and they have to figure out if they could have been found here. So I think it would be a cool identification game for them to look into and research. They have really beautiful things here. Now you have to think about, do you have a space for them, a purpose for them? Are you going to be able to like rationalize getting it 21? I think that's $21. These are really beautiful and they're heavy, solid. Like I think they're worth it, but I didn't come here to spend hundreds of dollars. So it's hard. It's hard to know. And then I like to look around first and then go back and choose, unless I find something that's really cheap. Then I'm like, okay, I can get that. I love sea glass and like I forget what these are called. If you remember what they're called, can you make a comment below? I love sea glass, especially the ones, the circles, the round globes. I've always loved those, and I don't have any, not one. I was obsessed with mermaids my entire life. I watched that movie Splash, and um, was it Daryl Hannah? Is it Daryl Hannah in that movie? I I fancied myself a mermaid. I literally remember being on a boat and seeing the water sparkle and going, if I jump in, will I discover that I have a tail? Yes, I thought I was a mermaid. Okay, guys, I was like 6, okay? So don't give me a hard time. These are called Christmas top seashells. I looked on Etsy to see how much they were, and they're a lot more expensive on Etsy. 30 cents a shell. I decided to get them because I was like, the name is Christmas, so I'm going to do something Christmassy with them. I haven't decided yet, but for 30 cents, I can afford to buy a few of them. The Vassum shells are only 75 cents, and they're really nice. I think they're beautiful. I think that itself, 75 cents would make a really good souvenir if you're on a budget. I was also looking through the shelves trying to find some that were like two that were similar enough to be earrings. Um, and I was also feeling them to see like if they were going to be heavy because I don't want them to pull. So I did eventually find some that I think would be good for like I didn't get the ones that are called turkey wing, but I thought that would be kind of cute if you had an idea for Thanksgiving to do like something with a shell that's called turkey wing. I don't know. Um the abalone make me sad because they were over harvested at some point, and so I don't buy abalone. Um, but I do have abalone. I have some shells I found on the beach when I was a kid in California, and I do have some that I bought before I knew that they were over harvested, and so I don't buy abalone. I don't know if that's still an issue or not. I don't know how they acquire these items. Like I don't know if they find them already without the animal in them or if they whatever. I used to collect keyhole limpet shells. It's like it looks like a little top hat with a hole in it. Those are awesome because you can make them into things. They already have a hole. By the way, that right there is called a moon snail. Moon snails are so cool. They drill a hole in whatever they eat. So if you find a seashell that has a perfect hole in it, it's because most likely because a moon snail ate it. So you don't have to have a drill to drill holes in your seashells. You can just comb the beach and look for one that has a hole in it. The moon snails are very common in the Pacific coastline, so you're going to find a lot of shells that have perfectly drilled holes, which are great for jewelry and wind. These are the shells I found that I think would be good for earrings. They're small enough and light enough, um, and I was looking to see if there were some that were similar enough to go as a pair. So you could either drill a tiny, tiny little hole, or you could set something in it and glue it in. So I haven't decided what to do with them yet, but I got some and they were really cheap. They were like, was it 30, 35 cents each? Something like that. They were really, really frugal. So, if you make your own jewelry, you can be very creative with things that you found, or even things like a tiny little pebble or a rock or a bead. Like one time we came to Long Beach when my kids were really little, and I couldn't find the bead shop, but we went to a bead shop and we bought a few beads. So it was like, okay, well, I will make my own jewelry, but I will have gotten the beads that I use for that jewelry from that place. So, and you can also make beads out of things that you found in that place. So it doesn't have to be something that you bought at a shop, but it can be if you have the budget for it. So they have some creepy stuff. They've got some really cool stuff. They've got 3D printed stuff and even some metal art. I really love metal art. I think it stems from one of my favorite teachers was my 7th grade teacher. Her name was Miss Barron. She was precious. I think when she taught me, it was her first job, and I absolutely loved her. She was a very kind lady. Um, she passed away very young of cancer. But one of the projects, she was always trying to be creative, and I really appreciated that effort from her because, she tried to make things interesting. She actually brought in metal wire, and she had all of the students make our own wire art. I made, oh, that's cool. It's Wally. I think, isn't it? She had everybody make their own something that represented them. I made an old fashioned scuba diver, which is funny because they have a scuba diver here somewhere that's like horizontally placed. But mine was standing upright and it looked like the one from 2000 Leagues Under is it 2000 or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? Um I love that old movie, the idea of like being underwater, especially since I was really obsessed with mermaids. It's kind of a weird thing about me. But I made a scuba guy and it was like really old fashioned looking. They had a contest and I did not win. Somebody more popular who had something more trendy won. But I loved it and I'm sure my mom has it somewhere in her house because she kept all the art I ever made. But it was really fun. And you know what? You could make something, it wouldn't be silver looking, but like, those like, I'm not sure if it's copper or what the old hangers are made out of. But if you have old hangers, and you could pick those up from yard sales for really cheap sometimes, because people want to get rid of them. They are actually very handy. I don't know why we switched to plastic, probably because it's cheaper, but they break easily. I wish we were still using wire hangers, and I wish I had gotten rid of most of mine. But you can use, oh, there you go. That one is a scuba guy, but he's like more modern and on his side and very pricey. So the one I have, it's not probably as good as this, but it was mine, right? So it's more special. Um, so you can make your own wire art and you can do it. Okay, so what you could do is get your own wire and your own, pliers or whatever tools you want to use, bring it with you on your trip. Then make your art project while you're in that place. Instead of buying something while you're in that place, make something while you're in that place, thinking about the culture and the feel and the spirit of that area. I don't mean the area has a spirit. You know what I mean? Like you have a vibe. You get this feeling of a place. Like what's meaningful of that area? And so I think make the thing while you're there, right? I saw some rubber duckies here for sale, but guess what? There's like a family fun center. I'm going to give you some extra content at the very end of Family Fun Center. They have like a rubber ducky game that you play till you win. So you can play and also get a souvenir at the same time. So don't buy your rubber duckies here. Go to the family fun area, play the game, win the rubber ducky. And then then it's more nostalgic, right? The tumblers here are more like utilitarian, something that you can actually use. I also saw, I'll show you later, but there's a compass keychain. I really liked it. It was kind of pricey and I didn't buy it, but if I was going to buy one item that was pricey, I'd probably go with the compass. This is so beautiful. I love that. I forget the name for it. They have plushies here too, but that glass circle. I love the idea of buying things like that and then building a tiny home around it. Crop duster. That is an inside joke. Maybe not so inside. If you have men and boys in your family, like most people do, yeah, that's not an inside joke. I think everybody's got those crop duster jokes. Um, yes, so there's lots of cool stuff here. There's funny stuff, there's serious stuff, there's creepy stuff. Um, so pretty much something for everybody, which is kind of cool because a lot of the stores we went into, like I like going to all the little stores, but I would want to go into a store. My family would say, I don't want to go in that one. Or they want to go in one. And I'm like, I don't have any interest in that one. This store has everything. It's like a tiny mall that's really weird. So it's definitely going to pique your interest. I would honestly, if I came here without my husband, I would have spent like a couple hours just looking around, thinking about things, taking pictures of things, taking videos of stuff, and looking things up, like when was this made, how does it work, that kind of stuff. But he was in a hurry. So they have stickers. They have magnet stickers and regular stickers. For those of you who are obsessed, I know a lot of people are. I do like the idea of stickers that are magnets for cars, because whenever the stickers start to peel off, it looks really bad. And if it starts to look bad and it's a magnet, you can just take it off. You know what you could also do is make your own. So, you know how you get like those dentist office, like people will give you like those giant magnets that are like you can cut them even, and you could actually make your own um magnet stickers too. I think that's a good idea. So the hats here I thought would be good for gardening, because I like to keep the sun off my forehead. I get lots of freckles. Um, so I like these kinds of hats. Fisherman hats, cowboy hats, like straw hats, like those work great for the garden. You can use baseball caps too, but they don't protect the skin on the sides of your face and your neck as much. Now this area here is about Jake. Jake is the alligator man, is what they call him. So people, I don't know, 100 years ago ish, were kind of obsessed with taxidermy and like trying to like fake news. Like, I mean, wait, hold on, fake news, like fake news. Um, they're like fake mermaids. They're fake alligator man. What they would do, from my understanding, is they would mix animal and human remains together. And it was a thing a long time ago where scientists, taxidermists, and other hobbyists would buy remains, and then they would fuse them together. That's kind of like the jackalope, right? So they'd fuse these parts together, and they'd be like, "Oh, look, I discovered this new species or whatever." Or they'd have like a museum where they charge you to go in, and they'd say, "Oh, we have all this weird stuff, and it's real." So they try to trick you. It's kind of artwork. But it's also quite creepy, especially when I see how small that skeleton is. It makes me think that it's probably, if it's real, it's probably child's remains. So I can't think about it. Anyway, so if you look here, there are all these keychains with names. If you see your name on a keychain, would you make a comment below that you saw your name? Or your, like, if it says grandma and you're a grandma, did you see it? A lot of people find their names, if especially if you have a common name, on the keychains and stuff like that. But we always look through all of them because our names are a little bit more unique. And sometimes we'll go places and they won't have all of our names. They actually have mine. I got one. Everybody in my family that went this day got a keychain. E- Some kind of style. There's lots of different places. They have lots of different choices here, not just that one. Um, so all of us got one except for my granddaughter, who didn't come because she was sick. Um, but all of us found our names on there. So that was really nice. They really do have a really big variety on the names, and they have different styles. They don't just have that style of keychain, they have several others. And they also have other name personalized things that besides the keychains. So if you only have 51 cents, you can get a smash penny. I like getting smash pennies everywhere we go on vacation because it is such a frugal souvenir, and it's also an activity because you're making it, right? But also, if all you had was 51 cents, you could turn that into a necklace. I know that a lot of people have like those little albums to keep them in, but I think having it as a necklace would be really cool. And it wouldn't be hard to do either. You could either put a hole in it, or you could wrap it or something, or glue it onto something. So I will probably do a video in the future someday on like frugal ways of making your own souvenirs and jewelry. This area here is for the bougie people who got lots of money to spend. This is real gold over here, and it's hundreds and thousands of dollars. Um, I thought it was nice that they had a variety of things and for every budget. So it's not just a store for like upper class, people who have lots to spend or upper middle class. This right here is a postcard of the world's largest frying pan, which, by the way, um, I took a picture next to, so I'm going to answer that in a second. But I was in a sorority. It was a really nice sorority, like well behaved, good girl sorority, Christians and Catholic girls. We weren't like those ones you hear about on the news, like, okay, or the frats, we were really good girls. But my big sorority sisters, they would make us sizzle. During pledge week, they'd say, sizzle like bacon, and you have to fall on the ground and sizzle like bacon. It was kind of embarrassing, but it was hilarious. So, of course, I had to get my picture taken in front of the giant frying pan. And I did buy 4 of those postcards. Are you a wonderful lover? I don't know. This apparently can. They have a lot of these older games. Like, it really, really gives me the sense of the Old Curiosity Shop in Seattle. So if you're in Seattle, go to the Old Curiosity Shop. It is really neat. And if you're in Long Beach, make sure you go to Marsh's museum store. These stores are really freaking awesome. And I didn't say the F word, I said freaking. Okay, so they have masks here. They have really expensive shells in here, but I love the chambered nautilus. It's actually one of the animals I'm really drawn to. Chambered nautilus. Um, I love all kinds of different snails, and let's see, African elephants, sea turtles, tortoises. I love them. Just they're kind of like I don't have like a spirit animal and I don't really believe in that, but they're like the animals I'm really drawn to if I collect them. Some people collect pandas or I used to really be into koalas, but then I found out that they're really not very smart. They're still really cute though. So actually, funny story. When I was in like 8th grade, my 8th grade teacher, who was also wonderful, Mrs. Kiernan, she was wonderful and I loved her, and she passed away. But she had us write a bunch of poetry. Like we had a poetry anthology that we wrote. And one of the poems I wrote was about my neighbor's wind chimes. Because we lived in Oahu, the trade winds are really strong, and my neighbor had a metal wind chime, and it was so obnoxious. So I wrote a poem about how annoying the wind chime was, and it was actually pretty funny. So ever since then, I've kind of had an affinity for wind chimes, but I like the ones that don't make that high pitched clanging sound. I like the sound of like bamboo, the sound of like that earthier sounds, and I like the mixed sounds too. Like you have metal, a little bit of metal, and a little bit of wood, and a little bit of really sturdy seashells banging against each other. I love that kind of sound. I don't like the high pitched metal sound. I'm kind of weird about that. Now, getting the stones are $18 per pound. I actually bought a tumbler. Oh, you can get keychains with your dog's name on it. I bought a tumbler from Hobby Lobby for $50. That came with the original, like the sand grit and stuff like that. And I've been tumbling rocks that I find, and it's actually a lot of fun. Um, the sound of the machine is kind of annoying. So what I like to do is I will tumble it when I'm not around. I actually have it in my classroom right now. And when I taught geology, I teach it every year, but when I teach geology or that unit, I have the kids collect rocks and we tumble our stones. And at the end of the unit, all the kids get to make their own necklace with wire wrapping with the wire and cordage. So it's a lot of fun and it's very frugal. Um, and I bought the tumbler, the school didn't. So it's like basically free to them. The kids get to do it every year. And I don't think we did it last year. We ran out of time because the kids wouldn't do their work and they kept talking. So we ran out of time and I didn't tell them about it. So they weren't disappointed. But next year I plan on doing that again if they can manage their time. So kids, if you're watching, I'm just kidding, kids aren't watching my videos, but if a kid was watching my videos, if you do your work and you use your time wisely, your teachers will have time to do the fun stuff. I love musical instruments. This one's $24, like maracas. I did buy like a whistle. I forget the name for it because I used it. I didn't think it worked very well, but since I put it to my mouth and my granddaughter's sick, I was like, I think I have to buy this now. So I went ahead and bought the little flute. Amethysts are beautiful. I have a collection. These are pretty expensive. I look for really cheap deals. That didn't come from Long Beach. So I like I said, I like to buy souvenirs or make souvenirs from that place, not something that just is available to buy from that place. Um, so that's a little shout out to one of my friends if she's watching, um, with the panda bear. So I love geodes. I have a huge rock collection. Some of my rocks are very basic, just rocks I found places that I liked. I actually use some of my rocks, like not show and tell, but I have students identify them during geology units. And I actually, on a trip to Leavenworth, I stopped at this really cool little rock store, and they had what was it, Mesosaurus or I think they're Mesosaurus fossil teeth, or something very similar to that. And it wasn't the exact same organism that we studied in our unit, but I did a competition with an optional project, and those are the students who participated. They all got to have a Mesosaurus fossil that they got to make into a necklace. So that was pretty neat. And there were kids who participated, and it was a lot of extra work, but they got to have a fossilized tooth. And it wasn't these because these are shark teeth. But one of my sons had a birthday party where I actually bought a bunch of shark teeth, and every kid at the party, in lieu of like a bag of random junk for the gift, like the prize pack, little prizes, they all got to make their own shark tooth necklace. That was a lot of fun. You got to be careful though, because kids, and sharp stuff. Some of them are sharper than others. So I kind of like felt through, like I bought them in bulk on like an eBay or something, and I felt through them and I looked for the ones that looked nice and the ones that weren't too sharp for the kids. And then they had beads and like cordage. And I mean, I spent less than it would have cost for little grab bags. And those little grab bags all usually end up in the garbage can, if you want to be really honest about it. It's like all that little plastic stuff from China with really cheap candy and stuff. The kids don't necessarily even like it. It usually ends up on the floor and thrown away. So something like that where you have a crafty gift for kids at a birthday party, I think is really clever. And I did buy a few of those shark teeth, so that I can make something for gifts in the future. So don't forget to look up lots of cool stuff on the ceiling. Like seriously, look up. I keep telling myself, don't just look down, look up. If you have like a special interest, like I don't know, like anime or fairies or something, there's probably something here in the store for you. They have a little bit of everything. It's very eclectic. They even have motorcycle frogs and taxidermied frogs, like and taxidermied turtles and a two-headed organism of some sort there. They actually had another taxidermied, I think it was a goat that had two heads. It was very interesting. Kind of gross, but very interesting. So definitely something to think about coming here. Um, if you have very tender-hearted children, maybe kind of guide them away from those areas that might make them sad. They do have some like naked posters too, or artwork, I should say. So do use parental guidance to make sure that your little ones aren't seeing naughty stuff. There are different types of stickers over here. I didn't buy any stickers. I like stickers, but I'm not willing to really pay much for them. Like it needs to be like a nickel for me to want stickers. I do like bird guides and animal wildlife guides. $25. I think it's a 25. I'm not sure. I have a bunch of bird guides and I get them from the library. Like so, I buy them when the library is having like the libraries will often have like 5 or 6 times a year they'll have a sale, and I don't go now, but I used to go a lot. And I bought a bunch of guides, so I have a bunch of different guides for this area. And it's not like evolution's happening that fast that we're going to have a bunch of new species. So they're the ones that were made in the 70s, 80s, 90s, they're still accurate. This right here is pretty cool because I found an algae on the beach, and this little guide helped me identify it. I was like, I was going to look it up when I got back, But this helped me because so I looked through here, and it's actually called bladderwhack, Pacific Rockweed. And there's a channel called Eat the Weeds on YouTube. Please check them out. I don't think they posted in a long time, but they actually have a video about that I want to say plant, but it's not. It's algae or seaweed, and its uses. So it actually is useful, and it has like these like it's like a little flotation device. It's like full of air, and it floats. So it's really interesting organism. Um, and so something like this, you can make your own guides too, by the way, you guys. Your kids can make their own guides. You can use that thick clear tape and make your own almost laminated guides. Laminating stuff is really expensive, but if you use that tape, it's super cheap and almost waterproof. Did decide to get my son a guitar pick here because he plays guitar. He actually had his first gig the other day, and I'm so happy for him to get out there and be recognized and have fun and make some money. This is something I want to make. So these, I was like, what is this? It was like $9, and it's fair trade. It's handmade. I think it's all women companies, people making these. This is a fidget. This is a handmade yarn crocheted fidget. That one's not the same kind, but the other one you put a marble in it. It's a marble fidget. I had to go online and I started looking these things up. That one's not a marble fidget, but it's just like a texture fidget. I'm gonna make some marble fidgets and I'm gonna do a video on it. So I'm gonna make different styles because there are some that don't have a hole. This one's like a donut marble fidget. Um, and I looked up the other kinds as well. I'm going to be making them my own way, my own style. I don't follow patterns. I just have a feel for it. So I'll show you how I kind of improvise. I looked at some things online and I'm going to be making some of those. I'm going to actually probably sell some on Etsy at some point. But my right now I'm going to make one for my youngest son. Has a little ADHD and most fidgets are noisy. So the nice thing about that one is it's not noisy. And so I'm going to also sell some of those in my student store for like they have a school budget. It's like fake money. Um but I think that's really awesome to have a fidget that's not noisy and it's also fair trade. So, love that. I really love that. And it really inspired me because I'm going to actually make some. And it's simple. It's like super simple. You can just make two rings of crocheted and then sew them together, or you can crochet them together. So this right here is what the compass I was talking about. I'm really into like SHTF preparedness. I think everyone should be prepared for anything that happens, even if it's just like getting lost. So I think having a really nice compass keychain is super smart and it's mainstream. It's very normal. The gnomes are so cute. So if you see a gnome on here that you like, or if it has your name or the name of somebody you like, or love, make a comment below. So I didn't buy any of the gnomes, but I thought, I've been thinking I would like to make some gnomes because I do really like them. I'm just really cheap. I don't want to pay money, especially if something's machine made. If something's handmade, I would probably buy it, but if it's machine made, I don't want to buy it. So I think I could make something like that. I could crochet a little hat and put a little nose on there and sew some words. I think it's pretty cute. Bobblehead turtles. I think I had one of these when I was little. A little bobblehead turtle. They're so stinking cute. And of course, my son had to play with it and get them all going at the same. I used to joke with my family before I had kids when I was pregnant with my oldest son that my kids were going to be bobbleheads because my husband and I have such giant craniums. Super cute though. I love them. I I give pity likes. You know what? I will not begrudge you a pity like. If you want to like this video, subscribe, comment, share, I would be very grateful. And if you click like for just because you feel sorry that my content is not getting enough views, I don't mind. Pity likes are fine with me. Go for it. I give them too. It's okay. Um, you can, you know what? You have a really good time. Shadow box it. You have a shadow box. You went somewhere. Put stuff in a shadow box. Make your own shadow boxes. Shadow boxes are pretty expensive. I'm gonna do a video sometime where I make shadow boxes, very frugally. Let's do it together. We're going to craft some stuff. And then you put your stuff in there from the times that you had a great time with someone you loved. You can put like baby shoes and a rattle and you know what I mean, like whatever. You had a great time, the best trip ever, and you want to display that event. That's a great way to do so. Or maybe somebody that you loved and lost, and you have some like a collection of stuff. I want to make a shadow box that has like my grandma Frances. She obviously she passed away a long time ago. But I have her little nursery rhyme book, her children's story book from when she was little. I would like to have that displayed, so people can see it, but it's very fragile. So a shadow box would be perfect. I'm surprised they're not still popular. Shadow boxes have kind of lost popularity over the years, but I like them still. And you know what? Have and do what you like, not just because it's trendy or in. People in the old days were really obsessed with weight. They have all these different like contraptions for like where you step on it and it will tell you something. Like it's like supposed to like predict something about you, not just your weight. So I'm like, this is kind of weird. Like, I don't know. I thought people were a little bit more religious, and Christian and Catholic and that kind of stuff 100 years ago, but they had some pretty, I don't know, the word for it. Anyway, two-headed goat. That's kind of weird. Kind of weird. Reminds me of going to like uh I call it Dead Northwest Trek or Cabela's. um, so interesting. These are mystery urns, so they don't know where they came from or what they held, and they have never been opened, which I think is respectful. So, if you find an urn, don't open it. Leave it alone. Respect life, right? Um, More name placards. We actually got some of these when my older kids were little, and we still have them. I don't think we have one for my younger son though, because he wasn't born yet. I should have got him one. Dang it, I forgot. I'll have to next time I go back there. I'll have to get him one because I'm pretty sure everyone in my family, except for my younger son and my granddaughter, already have one of these. Do you see your name on one of these? If you do, make a comment below. You got it. Comment. Comments really help. Lots of different names on these. Do you see your name? I see lots of names. Do you see yours? Like they have, honestly, I like that they had the name type souvenirs in so many different styles. They have like these ones that are like little street signs. They've got keychains that have the alligator man on the back of it. They had coasters that have like a canoper on the bottom. Lots of different choices to go with. I'm going to link to this video if you look in the description, um, because people like personalized things and can't always afford them. I'm linking some resources where you can put in the year that you were born and it will tell you what happened that year. Or you can put in your birthday and it will tell you what happened, what was popular, what was the price of milk, um, what were the movies that were out, what were the key events that happened. I'm also going to put a link for defining your name. What does your name mean? So you can use that information to make really cute, special birthday cards. You can use that information in any way you want to. So I'm linking those resources for you. If you don't have the funds to buy your own personalized stuff, you should still be able to have things that are personalized. So those links are attached in the description. Hopefully you'll check those out. And leave me a comment. What did you find out? What was popular when you were born? Check that out and leave me a comment. What did you find out about either your name or the year or date that you were born using the links from my description? My daughter asked me for a can opener. We like to go to food vendors, and they like to buy the Mexican sodas, and these have can openers on them. So, but it also doubles as a coaster, so it's definitely functional. So it's a functional coaster. Flip it over, it's a can opener. So, if you have like I also save you can save the bottle tops. I saw somebody made a belt using the bottle tops. I thought that was super cute. I would totally wear a belt made out of bottle caps. And I like the idea of finding ways to use bottle caps in souvenirs and art and stuff like that. So if you have an idea for how to use bottle caps in an artistic way, as like frugal artistic way, go ahead and comment below what your ideas are. This right here is what inspired me to go ahead and include those links about the days and years. Bonus content, there is a fun center in Long Beach, and we paid for $50 for a card, and we all, the four of us who went, shared it, and we had a great time. I don't know how long we spent there, but I think it was about at least an hour. And we were all entertained, and we came away with a bunch of different things. I think we got like a dozen rubber duckies, and lots of memories. And then also my son got a bouncy ball. And then when we checked out, their prizes were very reasonable. So my youngest son, he got to choose a lot of prizes. And yeah, because usually it's just like little bits of junk, and they're really too pricey. All right, everybody, be good, be sweet, grow garden if you want to eat, and I'll see you next time.